Because politics should not be so difficult. It's not rocket science.
Lee Anderson says that politics isn't rocket science, but it's also not a conversation down the pub. Anderson seems to be using his parliamentary questions for gotcha moments, which only shows a need to be heard rather than a real grasp of the issues. Listen to him here asking a question to Ed Miliband.
Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Now, the Secretary of State speaks very passionately about GB Energy. But I'd just like to remind him that just a few years ago in Nottingham, the Labour-controlled Nottingham City Council had their own energy company called Robin Hood Energy. But this was Robin Hood with a modern twist. It robbed from the poor and gave to the rich and cost the taxpayer about £50 million. So from that dispatch box, can the Secretary of State please tell the House how much GB Energy is going to cost the taxpayer?
Secretary of State.
Well, look, first of all, if I can explain to the honourable gentleman, Robin Hood Energy was a supply company. This is a generation company. So Robin Hood was a retailer. So it's different. I have to say, I am surprised about the position he takes. I thought the position of his party was to be in favour of publicly owned energy. I think they produced lots of videos on social media to that effect.
Or here with Yvette Cooper.
Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, when I was in the migrant camps in northern France last year, the migrants told me and some of my colleagues that one of the deterrents that would stop them coming is if they were turned back in the Channel or sent back the same day. Now, we saw the Border Force Agency take a boatload back just last week. So will the Home Secretary now, with that advice, grow a political backbone and order the Border Force to send the boats back the same day?
Well, the honourable member refers to the case where there was an incident in the Channel and where there was cooperation between the Border Force and between the French authorities that did also involve returning people to the French coast. That operational cooperation, I think, is really important. But I would just say to him, cooperation is the really important word here. Because if we want to prevent gangs operating and organising, if we want to prevent boats reaching the French coast in the first place, we have to work closely not just with France, but with Germany, with other European countries, with the countries through which some of the supply chains are operating as well. And it's that cooperation that I know quite often he and some of the others in his party have refused. So that cooperation will be important, and it's our best way to stop the criminal gangs.
Click here for Politics Isn't Rocket Science with Lee Anderson.